Hello, I'm Eric Olson with KSMQ Public Television. I'm here outside the Hormel Institute in Austin. Now, many of us have probably heard about this facility, but many of us might not know really what goes on inside, behind these walls. There's a lot of construction taking place right now as a massive expansion is underway at the Hormel Institute. So let's go and take a first look behind these walls. Hi, Dr. Ann Bode. Welcome.
Welcome to you.
Well, thank you very much.
We're very pleased you're here today.
We're thrilled to have an opportunity to take a look inside the Hormel Institute. And Dr. Bode, congratulations for all of your work and your fellow scientists helping to fight cancer. It's a daunting task, but you've made great inroads.
Yes, thank you so much.
And in this lobby, folks, you can see a few of the historical people that helped to make the Hormel Institute a reality, but back in the early 1940s.
That's correct, in 1942. It was established by J. Hormel, who is the son of George Hormel, who founded Hormel Foods. And he wanted to have a research institute in his hometown that did cutting-edge research, and in those days, in 1940s, it was the beginning of the end of the World War II. So food preservation and lipid analysis were very cutting-edge projects to work on.
Because today we know about the Institute as fighting cancer. But what you're saying is that when we started out, it was a different focus. And we have a large construction project going on. We alluded to that a little bit earlier here, a gigantic expansion of the Institute.
Right, another almost 65,000 square feet.
My goodness.
Space. 20 laboratories additional.
And your specific charge at the Institute, what do your scientists, you oversee a group of them.
Yes.
What do they study? Is there a way you can explain it for unprofessional lay persons like myself to understand?
They're looking for ways to understand how cancer develops and how normal cells become cancer cells. So all of the processes that go into understanding that so they can stop the process of cancer growth and development.
And we're talking about well over 100 folks. Yes. When it's all said and done that will be coming here. Will that double the size of the Institute about?
Yes.
How many do you have here on campus?
Right now it's close to 120 faculty and staff. So we expect to be around 240, 50.
And you have graciously allowed us some access to just take a look at what some of your scientists are doing right now.
Right.
Thanks very much. Thanks
you.
for the warm welcome.
Thank you.
And let's take a look at some of that work that your researchers are doing right now. With more than a dozen section leaders, the Hormel Institute research team's scope of cancer research is broad, from studying the intricate movements of cells as they divide to identifying markers for cancer behavior suppression. The basic research being conducted here provides a wealth of information for other scientists to build upon. Milestone discoveries include the identification and naming of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, as well as the anti-cancer benefits of compounds in ginger and green tea. One of the current section leaders, Dr. Mohammad Saleem Bhat, takes us inside his lab where he is focusing on prostate cancer.
My name is Mohammad Saleem Bhat. I am the section leader for molecular chemoprevention and therapeutics at Hormel Institute. The broader objectives of my section is to understand the reasons which cause cancer to reappear in patients after treatment. Because this is a big health challenge for clinicians and for patients itself. Once they get treated, they come back to clinic after a few years with aggressive type of cancer, and it is a big challenge. And pancreatic cancer is another lethal disease with a survival rate of 4% after surgery and therapy. So these two lethal cancers that have been our focus in our lab, and we are studying now modalities where we can diagnose these two diseases very early on in men with family histories and also in populations who are at higher risk to develop these type of cancers. Also, we are trying to identify genes and proteins which could be targeted by new drugs for the treatment of these two lethal cancers. And thirdly, we try to identify new biomarkers which could predict or indicate the disease progression in patients who have been diagnosed with early stage cancers. So this gives a window and are waiting for their lifetimes for the next stage. So this is a very significant advance we made last year. This we can use to predict if a cancer remains treatable or would advance to a very aggressive stage where it becomes untreatable. Right now I have a scientist with me and a technician with me.
Just down the hall, Dr. Sergio Gradilone and his team are focusing on why a normal cell transforms into a malignant one.
My name is Sergio Gradilone. I'm a section leader here at the Hormel Institute. Our section is Cancer Cell Biology and Translational Research. Our lab focuses on basic cell biology, trying to understand why normal cells transform into a malignant one. Our focus right now is on a specific organelle called the primary cilium that is like a cell antenna that almost every cell in the body expresses. Right now we are focusing on a specific tumor. It's a liver cancer named cholangiocarcinoma. It's bile duct cancer. The interesting thing is that our basic work may apply to other more common tumors, since the loss of primary cilia we found in cholangiocarcinoma has been also observed in pancreatic cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, kidney cancers. Our section is pretty new to the Institute, so we are building our lab. Right now we are just 3 scientists working here besides me, but we don't work alone. I mean, we work in team here, and we have collaborations with labs inside Hormel, and we also team up with people at Mayo Clinic, at the cities in the main campus. We have collaborators in Spain, in Argentina, in Belgium. Once we get nice and promising results, we pass on our data to oncologists and pharmaceutical industries, and they will move that to clinical trials. For example, we had identified a specific protein that is called HDAC6, that we know that targeting that protein, we can restore the expression of the organelle we are studying, the primary cilia, and the tumor growth will be inhibited. So there is a company that have developed specific inhibitors for that protein, and they are funding now a clinical trial for cholangiocarcinoma with oncologists at Mayo, and they are recruiting patients starting in January. So yeah, we have seen the whole process.
Continue up and down the halls of the Hormel Institute and you will hear the same story: cutting-edge research, collaboration with scientists both within the Institute and around the world, and a dedication to deciphering the activity in cells, bringing the scientific community ever closer to resolving the cancer question. Well, some good research there to see, and just a small portion of the work that's done here at the Hormel Institute. My 2 guests now are instrumental in making this a successful venture here. Gary Ray, the chairman of the Hormel Foundation, sir, and Dr. Zigang Dong of the Hormel Institute. Congratulations to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And when you look at your tenure here at the Institute, can you tell folks, for folks who might not know a lot about the Institute, some of the achievements, accomplishments you've had since you've been here?
The accomplishment is really totally depend on the foundation. It is really wonderful to have a foundation in this small town and can provide the fund, and we can do cancer research. It's cancer is already the major threat to the public health of all humankind.
Are we getting closer to finding out why people get cancer?
We do. We have a lot of, on that part, we do have a lot of achievement. We indeed find a lot of the reasons for different cancer, and because of that, and we have a huge achievement and reduce many of the major cancers in the United States.
And Mr. Ray, as Dr. Dong said, the foundation has been a great partner with the Institute. Why do you think the partnership has worked so well, and what do you see for the future with this new expansion?
Well, you know, this started back with Jay Hormel, who was instrumental in starting this institute back years and years ago. And what our board of directors is currently trying to do is just to try to fulfill that mission that was established here. And with the results of Dr. Dong in the last 10, 12 years, it's just amazing what they've done here to combat cancer.
So that's what the expansion's for. Is it to accelerate the process, or is it entirely different research?
I think it's accelerated the whole process, and plus some new directions of research as well.
And one of the things that I know, going around and talking to folks, happens here is a lot of collaboration with places all over the world, really, research facilities everywhere, also up in the Twin Cities. And we recently had a chat with Dr. Doug Yee, who had some very impressive things to say about the Institute.
Dr. Dong and his team have taken a very important approach to dealing with the problem of cancer, and that's trying to understand how we can use natural products as well as other compounds to both prevent and treat cancer. I'm Doug Yee. I'm the director of the Masonic Cancer Center, University of Minnesota. I think that Hormel team has been exceptional at providing all of the what we call preclinical data, all the data that you need to say this is a good idea. And the next challenge for all clinical research work is to then take that into a clinical trial to test the hypotheses. I think the one thing that the Hormel Institute has done that is extremely important is to take it beyond just a simple observation that, for example, flaxseed might reduce cancer risk. It's to take it and say, what are the compounds in flaxseed that really affect the ways people get cancer or the way cancer cells behave? I think that's an extraordinarily important part as we move towards making public policy statements about food and food supplements and nutrition. We have to have a very good scientific basis to make those recommendations. And I think the Hormel Institute has done a fabulous job of leading the way in that regard.
Well, it's very nice to be able to hear good words from fellow scientists. It's very competitive, is it not? This whole business of cancer research. You seem to work very well together.
Yes, indeed. It's competitive, but also on the other hand, we try to really do a lot of collaborations to scientists all over the world, in the Twin Cities, in Mayo Clinic, and University of Arizona, and many other places as well.
We realize that this deadly disease of cancer is not going to be solved by one individual or several individuals. It's going to be a worldwide effort. And that's why I think it's so important to have this collaboration with China and South Korea and Arizona University and other places that Dr. Dong is in collaboration with, Mayo Clinic. And so it's important that we all work together to try to solve this, tremendous problem that we have here in the world.
Well, congratulations to you both. As a lay person, it's fascinating. Must be even more exciting for you who are both on the ground level of this wonderful project. Thank you, Gary Ray from the Hormel Foundation, Zigang Dong from the Institute.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And coming next, we're going to take a peek through the facility right now with Craig Jones of the Hormel Institute. Stay with us. All right, we've moved outside on the side of the Institute project. A lot of activity going on out here, and one man responsible for coordinating much of it is Craig Jones from the Institute. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for coming.
And congratulations on the work. It's really a wonderful project.
Yeah, it's been fun so far.
And folks, Craig looks really calm, I have to tell you, because there's so much going around. Trucks coming and going, workers coming and going, welders. And you're taking it all in stride.
You gotta.
I suppose you gotta. Now, we should get a little bit of specifics. You're going to take us on a little walking tour. There are two major parts of this expansion that we kind of want to focus on.
Yeah, we've got the lab expansion, which is behind us here, and then we've got the lecture hall or Live Learning Center on the other end of the building.
All right, I'm very excited to look at both. Let's take a look, shall we?
Yeah, let's go inside.
Okay. So we've come around back here, and this is the east rear entrance. Is this employees?
Yes, this is the main employee entrance.
And it's going to look a lot different when this is all finished, of course.
Oh, absolutely.
And here we are
The
down.
reception area there.
Oh, okay.
Got some offices along the side here.
And then there was a hallway going down. You mentioned there's going to be kind of a grand view down a main hallway of the whole place.
Yeah, back where we came through, there's a main hallway that goes all the way to the lobby area.
So it's going to fit. The idea is not to look like an extension or an expansion. You want it to all look seamless.
Absolutely. We spent a lot of effort to do that, and it's been well worth it.
And down on this end of the project, there are wires everywhere. I mean, not just normal internet cables, but dozens and dozens of wires in the ceiling. What's going on? Computers?
A lot of those are basically internet cables. They're Ethernet cables. And we've got a lot of those because almost all the instruments are connected to the network.
And this area of the building, is it going to be the same kind of labs from a size perspective, from a functionality perspective?
Almost exactly the same as the other ones. We've got 20 labs in the other building, and we've got 20 here as well.
And there's a lot more that goes on building these labs than a garden variety, like a house project, I would assume. Much more equipment.
Absolutely. The ventilation system is a huge part of a project like this. Because they're laboratories, it has to have special ventilation to keep everybody safe. The big factor is keeping the air pressures and the air movement in the right way, not to contaminate your samples or the people.
Boy, that's a lot to keep track of.
Absolutely.
All right, there's another wonderful place in this project that, tell you the truth, I've been very excited to look at, and that's on the other side of the building.
Yep, the Live Learning Center.
Yes, the Live Learning Center, which is huge space-wise. It's a large piece of real estate.
Yep, it's 10,000 square feet, and it's going to be a great space for the Institute. Shall we go?
Let's do it. So this is what, the entrance area? What do you call this space? This isn't the whole thing.
We're calling it the pre-function space, and it's connected to the lobby there. It'll be the main way to get to the Live Learning Center.
So there's the highway right there for reference. The entrance we all recognize is just around this corner. So will people use the same entrance as they used to, or will this place have its own entrance kind of thing?
We use the same entrance as we used to, and we can set this up in numerous ways to support the lecture hall itself.
So we have made it to the pre-function area, and now it's time to move on to the main event, the actual auditorium of the Live Learning Center. Shall we go?
Absolutely.
So we made it up here, and tell us a little bit about this area. It's hard to visualize, but this is our Live Learning Center.
Yep. It's a 250-person auditorium with a stage and so forth.
And what will the use be primarily?
Mostly to give seminars and talks, but we can broadcast them around the world if we wish.
And around the world, as we've seen in the reports, the Hormel Institute having a sister campus, if you will, over in China. Would there be any way for collaboration between scientists, or are their research projects entirely different than what we'll be working on here?
No, like all the other projects in the Institute, we collaborate with people from all over the world, all over the United States. And this will just facilitate that in a very positive way.
Fascinating, really good. Thanks so much, Craig. This was a wonderful, wonderful little trip. Collaboration is a core value at the Hormel Institute. Section leaders routinely partner across labs to share information and pursue discoveries in common interest. Regularly scheduled seminars also promote broader understanding of all of the research being conducted at the Hormel Institute. It isn't uncommon to see scientists pausing their own research to sit down and listen to a colleague's presentation about his or her latest discovery. This collaboration also extends beyond the Hormel Institute to partnerships across the world, as guest speakers are also welcomed with great interest at the Institute. Gail Dennison, Director of Development and Public Relations at the Hormel Institute, describes how this natural desire to share information will be enhanced by the Live Learning Center currently under construction.
And on the west side of the expansion is an area that we are calling the Live Learning Center. And this includes a 250-seat auditorium and a multi-purpose room that can be used for things such as pre-function dining, for poster sessions when there are cancer research symposiums, tables, set up, depending on the use of the event, that multi-purpose room can be staged differently. It's about 10,000 square feet of additional space, and it's really an exciting part of the project because currently in our existing institute, we are pretty cramped in our largest seminar room to hold our existing faculty and staff, let alone adding another 130 faculty and staff. So it's very much needed. One of the really exciting parts of the Live Learning Center will be the technology that it will be able to offer to our scientists as well as people in the community that may want to use this space. It will have video conferencing that is very state-of-the-art. Unlike Skype, it will be real-time and very clear. So in cancer research and research in general, the most important function is discoveries and then sharing those discoveries. So communicating with researchers around the world as well as our collaborative researchers around the world, such as in China, in South Korea, all of our collaborative research projects that we have going on around the country and around the world. That communication is really vital because sharing the information as quickly and efficiently as possible allows that data to be shared, and then research can continue because a researcher that hears about what we have discovered, or if we bring in seminars conducted other places in the world to our scientists, it just allows for the advancement of information and sharing of information. And it's really the key function of the Institute is sharing knowledge and disseminating it worldwide.
Well, we're up here on the second floor of the construction project of the Hormel Institute, and I'm joined by John Gary, President of the Development Corporation of Austin. And the DCA was crucial in helping put all the workers here, getting them here to the project, right? Mm-hmm. You're an Austin organization, but you're helping the Institute.
Well, yeah, so the Development Corporation of Austin helped promote this project to the state of Minnesota for bonding support. City of Austin's been very involved. The Austin Port Authority has been, sort of intimately involved in the whole project as well.
This is one of the guys behind the scenes who kind of ties all of it together, right? Brings them here.
We help, yeah.
And what's the economic impact short term? How many people are here?
Yeah, well, it's a $27 million project. You have any given day, about 50 to 75 people working here on the site. So some of those are local contractors, some of them are from other places, mostly from southeastern Minnesota. So that economic impact, you've got a big project going on for an extended period of time, actually a couple of years, this project can carry out. So that's a big impact, to have those people in town every day. And then as you look down the road, you've got the people who actually come here and the scientists, the 120 people over time that will fill up this space. And that's the long-term, the wage that will have an impact in our community.
Is that a part of the project that your organization is going to have to work on, once the scientists get here?
Well, I think one of the things that DCA is most interested in general from the Institute, is to support the commercialization of research that happens here.
Oh, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so you think of in terms of commercialization, it's really when research gets from somebody's laboratory to a product out there, or people are using what comes out of the research. So often, if something is successfully developed, it'll be licensed to a big company, a big company. But other times, these ideas kind of slowly come up from a startup company. And I think the idea for us at DCA is to enhance the community with more of these, some support around smaller startup companies that might be associated with the Institute, or it might be a researcher who has an idea, and then we help find an executive to help get that company going. It is a sizable project, but also the type of research going on, you know, from an impact perspective or an image perspective for Austin is really significant. These aren't just any jobs. These are world-class researchers working and living here.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations, John. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, economic impact aplenty is coming because of this wonderful project here at the Hormel Institute. We're back in the front lobby. It's right where we started. I'd like to thank you very much for joining us on this little first look around the Institute as they really build a strong foundation for the future of cancer research, not only here, but around the world. For now, I'm Eric Olson, KSMQ Public Television. Thank you very much for watching.